Okay, we are live. Bum,
I
bum,
know.
bum. So I was going to put a mask on too, but if I did, I couldn't see the screen to hit the button.
Well, I can't see diddly squat. If I had had my contacts in, I might keep it on the entire time. When I was in Vegas, I went to the Rio and found this mask. Had to put it on. I was wearing contacts, so I was wearing. I know I was wearing blue. I don't remember exactly what blue dress I was wearing, and so I wore this. And of course, then I had my sparkly blue mask.
Yeah,
At the time, you still had to wear a mask, so I was like completely blue. But the great thing is that my face mask actually blended right into all the bling in my mask. So it just went very well. And I was going and then when we were outside, I stayed nice and toasty warm. If I was inside, I was fine. So yes, so this one I'm like, oh, my mask, since I had no bead, I think I have a bag of beads somewhere. But since I
that's the
wasn't
one you don't have is beads.
I know, right? Well,
Oh,
so I'm gonna so I can actually see. I will take this off, but
go ahead.
because I can't see Jelly squat without it, and the mask doesn't go on nicely with it. So we're gonna keep this one up. So
So yeah, okay, we just put it up in the corner somewhere, prop.
yeah, it's gonna go right.
Hanging over that Cowboys picture in the back.
uh, Another one making fun of me. Come on, I had somebody else
Ah, ha,
making fun
ha.
of me lately.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this week we decided to use the theme of
Mardi
Mardi
Gras.
Gras. I mean, Mardi Gras is. I mean, this tomorrow is Fat Tuesday. All right, and it is generally. I know you're going to go through. You've got a whole history onto it because that's it. You know what I mean? Gladys is our historian. But all right, it is the party day. All right, before Ash Wednesday. Now, are you Catholic? Are you?
No,
I'm not Catholic either. We're Protestant or Baptist Protestant. So, um, yeah, it's not something. I don't think Gwen, even Presbyterian, even did that Ash Wednesday. I don't know. I'll have to ask her.
right. So, this goes back a long, long time, but I will give you the high level, and then if we can, we will deep dive into some of the nitty gritty. But in case you didn't know, Mardi Gras means Fat Tuesday. So, Mardi is in French, means Tuesday, and Gras means fat. So, hence, it is called Fat Tuesday, and it is always the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday. And so over the years, it's become known as Fat Tuesday. But traditionally, it's the days leading into Lent. So
Mhm.
people would binge on all the rich, fatty foods, the meat, the eggs, the milk, the lard, the cheese, and all the goodies before they were going to, because they were anticipating several weeks of eating only fish and also fasting. I
Yeah.
have a friend of mine that lives in Texas that during that time, she gives up all types of alcohol. So that is her time to cleanse, and that's how she observes Lent.
We did that last month. We're not doing that.
But the first American Mardi Gras took place in on March 3rd, 19 excuse me, 1699, not 1966, 1699.
Wow.
And that's when there was a French explorer that landed in what's now New Orleans, and they had a small celebration near the point of the Fat Tuesday, the Point du Mardi Gras. And so since then, New Orleans and other French settlements began marking it as a holiday and having parties on the streets, having mask balls, having all sorts of fun masks that they would wear, and lavish dinners. And then when the Spanish took over, then they're like, oh no, we need to abolish all this rowdiness, these rituals. And so it was banned. And it wasn't until 1812, when Louisiana became a state, that they started the Fat Tuesday again. And so it wasn't until 1827 that students started to dance down the streets and wear those lavish costumes in New Orleans, and so then they started to bring in the parades. Which there will be a parade tomorrow, of which I didn't know if you heard that there was a shooting and a death. Four people got hurt. One got was shot, that later on passed away, and it was on that route. That was 9 p.m. on Friday, or excuse me, on Sunday. that happened. But so people know where the route is. So that has been going on for many years, and but it's that was when the first recorded parade took place back in 1827, and it just continues. And so it's just been a tradition that New Orleans is the is it? I don't remember if it's New Orleans or Louisiana. I think it's Louisiana is one of the few states that actually has Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, as a holiday. So there's a lot that goes on with it. There's a lot of food. Here I have you have jambalaya. I have shrimp and chicken gumbo.
Shrimp, or no, I have chicken and sausage jambalaya.
Okay.
And I've got the dish on here, keeping it warm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I just uncovered it because I had it covered to try to keep it warm. Here I have bufaletta, which is this olive. I don't know if you can tell, but there is this olive and basil paste, if you will, that goes on what's all the different capicola. There's mozzarella, provolone, dry salami, and ham. And then more of the that relish, if you will, in a bread. Now, usually this is a mini one.
Yeah.
Usually the muffalettas are pretty big. I went with a mini one. It called for when I was looking up options and I saw the mini one, I said, perfect. They were calling for a hamburger bun and then cutting it. I said, nope, I'm just going to use one of those Hawaiian type rolls. And so did that. There's etouffee, there's bananas Foster's. I mean, there's a lot of food. Oh, and don't forget king cake.
Yeah, that was one thing I thought we should have done was probably king cake. But yeah, this is a lot to get ready for. But this is a big one. Yeah.
It was, and I was going to look for a king cake, and I remember last year somebody asking the people of Wilsonville about king cake, and I was like, oh, it's a rosca, because in the Latin culture that is usually done, but it's usually done at the beginning of January, where it's you have the cake, and there was actually history behind the purple and the green, that's what decorates the king cake, and then there's a prize inside. In the Latin culture, if you get that little baby, then you're the one that's supposed to throw the next party. So that's in this one. It's a prize. It's supposed to be fortune, good luck. So it just depends on how you look at it. But yeah, king cake is just a cake that's baked, and then there's that little prize that's inside. So there's a lot of more history. I mean, that's the very high level of how it started. And how before the crews that were the ones that were in the parades were made of just men. And it wasn't until at a certain point, I forgot what year it was, I think it was in the 60s, that women dressed up, and it wasn't known that they were women, but then it was found out, and men would line up the parade route and would throw rotten vegetables at them. I mean, it was just a thing. It took years to get over that, but women now also participate, and then there's the bead throwing and everything that goes along with that.
Now, wait a minute. We got to talk about the beads. Why did we throw the beads?
Well, I didn't look at the history of where the beads started, but I know when I was in New Orleans is that the ladies had to show their bosoms, and the beads were thrown at them. So when I was there back in, oh my goodness, it was many years, 2007, I think it was, somewhere around there, 2008. There were some of the ladies that were like, come on, I'm showing you my boobs, give me beads. And it's like, I have no beads to give you, sorry. But a lot of times there's more than just beads that are thrown. There's trinkets, and a lot of people, they have bags to collect all the little trinkets. So it's more than just that. Only I didn't look into the history, but that is the side of the beads that I do know about.
Well, I didn't have any beads, so you don't have to worry. Anyway.
Oh my goodness,
guys! This is a drinking podcast. Yeah, all right. Yeah. We are broadcasting on sites where kids can look. Yes. So,
behave. So Sazerac is one of the drinks, but another drink that is also well known is a French 75.
French 75, yes.
So that is one that we will be making. And then another thing that we thought would be good to have is a Cajun Bloody Mary.
Well, of course. Why would we have Bloody Marys?
Because we got Mary's Mixers.
Because we have Mary's Mixers. Yep. Thank you, Mary's Mixers.
The last time I made a Cajun mix, so I made my little mix and I put it in here. What I also did is that I added some Himalayan sea salt. So this time I will be garnishing my my drink with Cajun seasoning and then topping it with Cajun seasoning. So that was the thought behind that. And then the other thing that I brought in, so we're going to keep it simple when it comes to the Bloody Mary. It's our favorite mixer, adding a little bit of that Cajun. It is the spicy one, so this one already's got a kick to it. But
I'm out of the spicy.
So. Okay, so you could always add a little bit of chili powder. You could always add horseradish. You could always add tapatio or one of the Louisiana hot sauces. So there's a lot of different things you can do to spice up a little bit of.
I have stuff to spice it up because I went with a recipe I found on myrecipes.com.
Okay, so how are you spicing yours up?
Well, there's first of all, it's the Cajun seasoning. First, okay. I have some of that. My celery salt. I love celery, by the way. Yes. But it said to put in here, all right, some horseradish. I have horseradish, but I also have some of Iron Wolf's horseradish vodka.
Of course, yes, great choice. Great.
What a chance to show off my vodka. But it's something it called to actually put in was, where is it here? 1/4 cup of liquid from a jar of pickled okra or pickled jalapeno.
Okay, there you go.
So, I mean, I just kind of brought that over, you know. So I actually got to watch how I do this with the spoon.
So, let's see how my and I didn't. One of the things I ended up leaving was my celery. I had actually bought celery for this, and then I ended up leaving it. And I almost thought that I had forgotten my So for my muffaletta, I actually made, this is an olive mixture. So this is what it looks like, and it's Italian style olives. I got those red peppers in there too. A little bit of olive oil. And then I also added, where is my, oh, there is, basil. And then that all gets blended. And so that is what is in this muffaletta. In here is that delicious roulade. I've made another roulade that is with mayo from my shrimp po' boys.
Yeah.
That one takes a little bit of a moment to make, but it does have mayo. It has the roasted red peppers. It's got olives in there. I mean, it is absolutely delicious, but it does take a little bit of time to do. And I've been in training since last Wednesday through Sunday. Travel time, it was like I barely had time to do anything. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to do what I can with my Cajun seasonings, as well as adding a little bit of chili powder if you want to the to your rim, just to give it a little something, a little bit more heat if you want. So see, that's all rimmed up. I do have my ice. I'm not going to mix it just because I'm going to use my mixer for my French 75.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I actually brought in a separate little mason jar to make my Bloody Mary in.
So I'll be and so there's various things that you can do with your Bloody Mary. The other thing that you can do to make it spicy, you're using your spicy vodka. You could also do. They do have a spicy tequila, so it's a Bloody Maria. So you could do that to give it a little bit of a kick.
So the other thing I usually would have put into it was a little bit of garlic, but I didn't.
Okay.
So see, I'm mixing it all up in this, and then I'll just pour it over some ice.
And then you can always add a little bit more lime to it. Add your garnish with your celery, your okra, your green beans, whatever you want. Okra would actually be perfect for this one because it is Fat Tuesday and it is New Orleans. So I would say okra would be perfect for this.
I'm going with a peppercini.
Ah, there you go.
A little bit of slice of lemon.
That was one thing I forgot to buy was an actual lemon. I do have my real lemon juice for the French 75, but that is one beautiful way.
I'm doing my French 75 with lime juice.
Ah, I do have lime juice. But you can put
lime with the juice, lemon with the lemon.
Okay. And one of the things that you can do is that when you get the lemon and you peel it, there is look at that beauty. Oh my goodness, look at that. Beautiful. I need a picture of that. So hold it up for me pretty please, because I want a picture of your drink.
Let me get the logo out of the way because they are not our sponsors.
There we go. Thank you. I wanted to get the way you drink. I needed to get you. I needed to get the mask and the drink so that it looked really good. I'm still trying to get used to
that pepper, that juice from those peppers. Oh man, does that make it? But wait a minute. I could have stuck in, because it's a Bloody Mary, I can always stick in something else I have here.
What do you have? Bacon. Oh my goodness, I do have bacon.
Bacon, because bacon always goes in a Bloody Mary.
Yes, it's bacon.
Oh man, I'm telling you, from what I'm tasting, I can really taste. I mean, I have Worcestershire sauce into it, the Cajun spices, the horseradish, but the pepper, the juice, from the jalapeno peppers.
Yeah.
Oh, you can taste that and it really. It gives a kick, but not like it's going to burn your throat. Hot kick.
Wow, that does have a little bit of kick there. So this is my gumbo with the shrimp and the andouille sausage and the chicken and the okra and the rice and the celery and bell peppers. I mean, there are just a lot of flavors going on in here. And it just looks gorgeous.
Gumbo and jambalaya are a lot of flavor. It really, both of them are a lot of flavor packed into food.
Let's get a picture of them.
Oh, man.
Good foods, y'all. And one thing you can do to simplify things that you say, I don't have the time, I don't have the space. Go to the store, get a can of the pre-jarred gumbo in the soup section. Then add your own shrimp, fresh shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you can, get some frozen okra, because okra is really hard to find. Get some frozen okra. And then if you want, add another can or half a can of diced tomatoes in a jar if you want, just to give it a little bit more of a tomatoey texture to it. If you have some chicken, you can shred up your chicken or cube your chicken and then just simmer it and just get all the flavors to come through. And that's another way you can simplify it and have it without having to spend all the hours in making it.
Well, I did mine. I bought Gwen got the chunky mixes. No, I didn't microwave these. A lot of the stuff we do for the show, I microwave, but I put it in the pot at 5:30 our time in a small pan. turned it on a low temperature, and I just let it simmer for an hour. All right. Now I took it out of the dish. So probably now about 25 minutes ago. We're live 20 minutes, about 5 minutes before the show. I took it out. All right. It's still warm, but all the flavors are there because I slow cooked it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'm learning about doing the slow cooking with the smoking and everything I'm doing with my smoker, slow cooked foods are sometimes a lot better. If you just take your time, all right, and let it naturally cook, it takes the flavors out of things. And even though that is a canned one, all right, I should have taken some. I have some more andouille sausage in the refrigerator. I should have taken sliced one up and put it in, but I didn't.
I mean, don't feel like, oh my goodness, because yes, sometimes we do spend a lot of time cooking. But you know what? If we can figure out a way to make it easier for you,
yeah.
That. And yes,
but I did cheat because the one thing we said we were going to do was pancakes. So I bought these cheater pancakes.
I got waffle.
I know.
I had waffles.
But I always have waffles in my freezer. I almost always get Eggo, but still, I always get a buttermilk waffle. I always have a buttermilk waffle in my freezer, and sometimes I have buttermilk pancakes in my freezer. Because it's great just to throw in the toaster and heat up. I don't have any syrup, so I'll eat them this way, though. I'll put a little butter on them.
I just bought some pure maple syrup from Organics.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. I put it there and I let it sit because I usually like my waffles slightly brown. Only I was heating up the food and I was like, oh shoot, I let it in there. Forgot that I had previously heated up a muffin, and I always leave the muffins longer because they always take longer. So I figured with the maple syrup, it'll soften up. Now, I thought that this was going to be too much for the sweetness of the waffles, but with the bacon and the waffles, the sweetness, this tasted just like very refreshing. It was like, ooh, you feel the heat, but at the same time you get that sweetness. So I like the taste of it.
Well.
My crunchy waffle. But the taste with the gumbo, I think went well. I think that tasted very nicely. You get all the flavors. You got your andouille sausage. You got your rice, your chicken, your tomatoes, your celery. I thought it was okra. It's not.
Okay, the longer this sits, the more the peppers seep in. The more it gets to be a spicy Cajun.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'll keep this mix in the refrigerator for the next couple of days. Rather than when you don't put the ice in it. This is something my uncle does. We do our Thanksgiving Bloody Marys every year. My uncle makes this batch, and all the vodka's already in it. All you got to do is add your celery and all your stuff and just pour it over ice, and that's how he makes it. So I mean, that's what I wanted to make here tonight. So mine will be just pourable in, but anyway.
So one of the things that I didn't talk about was the history of the mask.
Yeah.
Because when you're wearing a mask, it started because a lot of times there's always the cultural differences or the societal differences. And so when you're wearing a mask, even though it was a ritual and it was for celebrations, a lot of people wore them because it was a way to go out and have fun, have some anonymity. And it's really started with to be worn in Mardi Gras a lot more because they were escaping all the constraints of what they were expected in their class, that they were expected to be prim and proper, or because of their low class, maybe they don't have as much money. So when they put on their gowns and they put on their masks, then they're able to mingle. And so it was a diversion for the poor people. For women, it was in order to maintain their reputation, and for the gentlemen, for them, it was a way to say, "Hey, you know what? I can get a little drunk. Nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's going to think anything of me, even though I shouldn't because I'm in this class." But now it's more for fun. When I bought it, it's because it was beautiful and I just wanted to match my sparkly blue mask and my dress. And so now, in order for riders to be on the floats, they are required to wear masks on Fat Tuesday. So it's just a little bit of bringing some excitement and celebration throughout the city of some fun. So now it's all about fun. I know. There's so much history amongst everything. There's so much that I'm like, okay, I can only share little bits and pieces because otherwise it's a little too much to share if I go back even further in the history of Mardi Gras. So have you tasted your jambalaya with your Bloody Mary yet? Or your Bloody Mary?
Oh yeah. I've tasted everything with it. So I said, it's a smorgasbord of flavor. There are so many flavors going on between the jambalaya, the Bloody Mary, the pancake, the bacon, that I actually had to eat some of my celery to try to stay healthy.
There you go.
Because I felt like I was fattening up there.
Well, I'm going to have some of that muffaletta. I'm going to cut that little puppy up so you can see the middle because this should look very pretty. So Capicolo is another deli that I had, a deli meat that I hadn't tried before. So this is going to be the first time I'll be trying that. But ooh, look at that. Look at all those colors and those layers. So there's Capicolo, and then the mozzarella, and then the ham, and then the provolone, and then the dry salami, and just all, just don't skimp on the sauce because that's what is supposed to make it, to the next level. Mm. I'm glad I have black napkins.
Yeah, I know. I've got the dark purple today. I should have got purple and green, but anyway.
We're wearing a good color. Blue's a good color.
Yes, we went blue. Blue is our color today, as opposed to last week.
Wow, that goes very well. Because you have all the fats from the deli ham and all the deli meats, actually, I should say the deli meats. And then you got all the little fatty fat from the cheese. And you got it just, this helps tone down those flavors. They help tone down the spice in this, and this helps tone down the fattiness in that. Mm-hmm. The flavors of the fat. I mean, not so much because the fatty fat will stay there. When you inhale it, guess what? It's still going to be there, but it's going to help feel just very refreshing. So this is pretty darn good. Trying something different. Because I don't remember if I had a muffaletta when I was in New Orleans or not. I definitely had gumbo, etouffee, and jambalaya because, hello.
Yeah. Well, I had a can of each, decided which one I wanted to warm up because I didn't want to sit in the other two pans for an hour. So one pan, I only had to go out and stir every couple minutes.
Well, you can also have leftovers for lunch or dinner tomorrow.
That's what I was thinking. I was probably going to put this. I still have it sitting in the warmer out there. But I'll be able to put this into a container and I'll be able to eat it tomorrow. That's why I was only going to do one. I have a problem with leftovers. So
really,
they don't agree with me that much. I'm all about making food fresh and eating it.
I love leftovers, just making them a different way. That was one thing that growing up, we would have chicken soup one day.
Yeah.
So this is funny. So growing up, we would make chicken soup, and then the next day, my aunt would make rice with the broth, and then she would also make either tacos or enchiladas, or would make a smothered chicken with the cooked chicken. Sean's family, they would make the whatever chicken, whatever they would make, and then with the leftovers, they would make chicken soup. So I started with the chicken and made my way through. They started with the whatever it was and made their way over to chicken soup. So
Yeah, yeah. See, I would start with the chicken, and eventually it would end up in a soup. But still, I'd cook a whole chicken. All right, then maybe I'd piece it off, and chop it up. Maybe turn it into a fried chicken, and throw some frying batter onto it or something. But then I make chicken salad out of it, and then maybe a chicken soup. Yeah. Well, it's the things that I don't like reheated. Like if I get a steak, I want to do the steak once the next morning, and that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, steak and eggs.
Yeah, it's not something like a lot of these like jambalayas and stuff. I don't want to reheat it twice. I'll heat something one time and I'll try to only heat what I'm going to eat because I won't reheat something twice. It's bad.
That I don't like. No.
But if you follow food code says, health codes say you only reheat something one time.
Okay.
All right. I know growing up, there's a lot of us growing up, we reheated stuff several times. All right. Because of the fact that's just what we had. That because of the fact I spent so much time working in restaurants, my constitution couldn't handle it. So I remember my father-in-law would heat food up. And I remember one time I ate it like on the third day and I spent 4 days in bed sick. It just didn't. So after that, I stopped. If he reheated it the first night, I'd eat it. The second night, forget it. I was done. Yeah.
No, I'm also very much like that with the reheating.
Yeah.
If I'm only going to eat part of it, I only get that part that I'm going to heat and the rest goes back in. And then I have a 4-day limit by day 4. If it's not going to be eaten, I'm not going to eat it. It's nope. I'm like, is it something that Maverick could eat? He'll get it. But if not, it's like, nope, I'm done. Well, I have my limits.
Like one of the things I like to have around in a cold winter is chili. I'll make a bowl of chili. I'll be heating that thing up piece by piece for a week. You know what I mean? Because like you can always, that's the one thing about chili. You just leave it in the refrigerator and you take out what you're going to do and you heat it up. You know what I mean? Get you a piece of bread, some butter warmed up onto it, and some sour cream. Yep.
Yeah, and the thing is with chili is that the flavors just continue.
They continue to baste in that sucker. The longer it sits. Kind of like this Bloody Mary. The longer it sits, the better it gets.
Yeah, this is very yummy. This is what mix are we using again? Oh yes,
Mary.
And this is the Mary's Bloody Mary.
You did a spicy blend. I did the regular blend. Yeah. I did the original.
So the nice thing about getting the original, y'all, is that when you get the original, it's going to be not as spicy as this one. And this one has a little bit of a kick. It really does.
It does have a kick, yeah.
But if you don't want that, but maybe if there's 2 of you in the household, one likes it spicy, one doesn't, get the original and then just spice it up a little bit. It doesn't take much to spice up a Bloody Mary. And then you can add your own flavor to it, what you like.
I have always found, and I mean, Mary's mixers are good mixers, and I love them. I'm glad that they give to our show. But I've always found that the spicy mixes are too much for me. I would rather get the original and spices it up as I want. Here's why. I'm not saying, Mary's this great spicy mix. It is awesome. But some days I don't want it that spicy.
Right.
Some days I want a little spice. Some days I want a lot of spice. If you always have a bottle of original, you can spice it up to the nature you want.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
And you can spice it up with what you like. So for you might want to spice it up with some horseradish, maybe some Tabasco or another sauce.
Yeah.
You can spice it up with your liquor. You can spice it up by adding some of the chili powder or some homemade Cajun. I mean, there's various ways to spice it up. And what do you like? You know, maybe you just throw in some of the jalapeno juice from the jarred jalapenos. So what is it what's the flavor palette that you enjoy? And play with it. Make small batches and say, okay, what is it that I like, and taste it. And then add a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that, play with it. It's all about testing what you enjoy. And that's part of this is something new, you know, that I'm doing here. I mean, I'm like, that is not normal for me to be eating this. And then I had to go get olives because I wanted to make sure it looked cute, but I ran out of olives. I do eat a lot of olives.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to add the blue cheese olives because I don't like blue cheese. And I didn't
I
think
don't like blue cheese olives either. Gwen loves them. I don't.
well, the last time I ate it for Bloody Mary, I took out the blue cheese and I cleaned it, but I could still taste the blue cheese. And I went, I didn't want that for this one. So
See, that's the one drink that we're going to have to do here in the coming weeks is a martini, because that's the one we have,
Right.
and Gwen has blue cheese olives in her martini.
okay. Yeah, I bought blue cheese olives. They're in my fridge. I don't like them. They're not for me.
All right, but you know, I've tried all kinds of other olives. All right, the only olives other than your standard ones that I really, really like are garlic.
Yes, I saw the
I'm not
garlic
big
olives.
jalapeno, but
Yeah.
garlic are really, really good.
Yeah, and that's what I almost bought for a couple of reasons because the ones I got were the manzanilla olives.
Yeah.
But if you notice, they're a little bit smaller. So I mean, you can see it here. They're just smaller. They're not huge, and so I do like in the really nice meaty olives for a martini. I don't mind eating the smaller ones with food or decorating, but when I want a martini and I want olives, I want those nice, gorgeous olives that you have to bite into, and it takes a few bites before they're gone.
So I started mixing up our next drink here, so I'll explain it here in a bit. As I spill it all over my desk. This is why I usually try to keep extra paper towels here. So when I spill, I have ways to clean up. Especially when you spill simple syrup on your desk.
Oh, yeah. Don't have my
It's
phone.
going to be a sticky mess tomorrow if I don't clean it up.
Yeah, I just bought my a new simple syrup. As much as I preach making it yourself,
Yeah, I always keep some here.
yeah, you gotta have some because you never know when you need it because you can easily run out, what have you.
I said to my wife, "Hey, honey," because she was asking me, because I was at a conference. I was at an expo for real estate this weekend.
Okay.
And while I was there, my wife says, "Well, I'm going to the store on Saturday. What do you need?" I said, "Get me another small bottle of champagne." My wife says, "Small bottle. What champagne did you want?" I said, "Just get that Chandon. I'll keep the Chandon we had in the refrigerator from last week."
Right.
So she finished it and says, "Okay, let me get you another small bottle."
So what I have is a Moet Mini. So I'm sure that you all saw the picture that that was a big bottle. This is a little mini bottle.
Yes, get the mini bottles when you're doing mixed drinks like this.
Yes. And then the other thing that I got is the Botanist. So I think I've mentioned I'm not a gin drinker, but this Botanist is absolutely delicious. And I remember going to Stafford Liquor before they got into their big location. They're like, "What are you looking for?" I said, "I'm looking for a gin." They're like, "Which one?" I said, "I don't remember." I said, "But it's a round bottle." I mean, that narrows it down, right? A round bottle. I said, "And there's writing on it that you can feel it." And they're like, "Oh, the Botanist." And I go, "Yes." And then he points to it and I go, "Yes." So I've had this bottle for a little bit.
Year was the last of it too.
Yeah, this is the last of it. So
no, this is the last I had of Iron Wolf gin.
Okay.
All right. And there's this, you can really change the juniper berries in theirs.
Okay, see, this is what I like about the Botanist is that does not have that strong forward.
Now I have tons of Bombay Sapphire because that's what Mom likes.
Okay.
We always have that in the house, so I had that there for a backup. But it says to shake this. Oh God. Yeah, I don't think it's a wise idea to shake that. By the way.
Oh, don't put the sparkling or your champagne in when you shake. That's just to top it off.
Yeah, it doesn't say that on my instructions, by the way.
It doesn't say top off with.
No.
I think I did that the last time where I used what I wasn't supposed to, and I went, oops. So it's 1.5. So let's see if I have 1.5 ounces of gin left. I think that's all I have is, yep, I have exactly 1.5 ounces.
I have to try this again, but anyway, let me try. Nope. It says to put it into a champagne flute, but I don't have the champagne flutes in here. I just brought the other cups.
Okay. What I did is that I kept my cute one, my Pop Fizz Clink. So it's 1.5 ounces of your gin, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice or lime juice if that's what you're using. 3/4 ounces. Oh my! I think I said cup. If you're going to be serving that many people, of simple syrup, and you're going to shake that all about. You're going to do the hokey pokey, and then you're going to serve it after you. It's about 20 seconds. You got to feel this really hot. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing, which the recipe did not call for, but I'm going to be doing this, is that I'm going to be putting a little bit of sugar on the rim of mine because I thought that would be kind of fun to rim it. And you can use food coloring if you want to give it a little bit of color. See how pretty that looks. You then pour this in. Oh, I guess I should have my Moet opened, which I haven't opened yet.
Hmm.
Oh, and this does have a regular, this is not a twist top. This actually has a real.
Refer back to last week's podcast if you want to know what we're talking about.
Right, exactly. So I was curious about this little guy, and so I had to get it because, and then see, so, and in case you haven't listened to last week's podcast, always turn the bottle away from you, and then
Always gives a cute pop.
I love that pop. Oh, that smells really good. So once you've shaken, not stirred, and you pour it in.
So far, I've had it with a little bit of a pound cake.
Very nice. And then you add 2 ounces of, top it off with your sparkling or your champagne. And then you can always finish it off with a decor of the lemon, a little lemon.
Lemon twist?
Uh-huh.
What movie was that in? A lemon twist?
Fizz Clink.
Fizz.
Fizz, absolutely. Gotta get the bottle in here. Yeah, camera. Lights, camera, action.
Beverly Hills Cop 1.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, where he says I can make you espresso. The guy who played Balky in that Cousins.
Oh yes, my cousin Balky Bartholomew.
Yes, the same that actor he was in, and basically he's like, I have an espresso bar. I can make it with a lemon. Would you like it with a lemon twist? And he would say twist, really strange. Anyway, it was an awesome movie. The 80s had great movies.
Yes, they did. Oh my goodness. Oh, and that's kind of yummy. Adding a little bit of sugar on the rim gave it a little something, something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Ooh, I like that. So now,
Very refreshing.
yeah.
I kind of didn't expect that, like a refreshing
So let's.
in a yeah, because it's French 75. It is listed. We did find it as one of those Mardi Gras type drinks. I kind of expected it to be a heavier drink. It's not. It's a very light drink. Maybe you drink this to cleanse the palate so you can fit more in.
Go.
Maybe. Just saying. I'm not guaranteeing that's why. Just that's what came to my mind.
Mm.
Really throws a lot with the jambalaya.
Mm. I think the lemon in there with the jambalaya or with the gumbo goes well. Okay, let's check out my my crunchy waffle here.
It made the pancakes really light and fluffy. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was expecting it to not match up with the maple syrup and the waffle.
Yeah.
Because of that sweetness of the maple syrup, and this is pure maple syrup. Which, note y'all, if you open maple syrup, throw it in the fridge, it will go bad. I did that with a beautiful bottle of delicious maple syrup. I didn't put it in the fridge, and it went bad on me. So I think because of the simple syrup that is in here, this is really nice. I thought it was just going to clash because of the lemon and because of the champagne, but it didn't. It actually enhanced it. It kind of blended nicely. And I also threw in a bite of bacon.
Yeah.
That went very well. So we're going to try with the muffaletta now.
So this drink, a French 75 calls for a basic recipe on it. There's a couple different versions of this out there. But my recipe, which I got from liquor.com, all right, I like to give credit back where I got it from. So, is 1 ounce of gin. And I basically had, of my Iron Horse gin, I had 1 ounce left.
Okay.
I saved it for this drink tonight. It says a half ounce of lemon juice freshly squeezed, right? A half ounce of simple syrup.
Okay.
3 ounces of the champagne or sparkling wine. And then it says to garnish it with a lemon twist. I can't say lemon twist without thinking about Beverly Hills Cop. All right. I made the mistake of putting it all in the shaker. Because my webpage didn't load with step 1 and step 2, but I believe step 3 is add the champagne, top it off. Because it's step 1, and it's probably just I need to reload the page. But it says to add everything but the champagne. Right? I didn't see top off with champagne, so I just added the champagne to the shaker. Adding champagne to a shaker is an explosive thing.
Yes, I did that one time. Remember when I got all over the carpet because, that was a big mess I made. And I'm like, why did I do this? That anything with carbonation does not get shaken up. It will go. So this was very yummy. I like this. So yes, I have had a French 75 before. I was in Oregon the first time I had a French 75, and it was absolutely delicious. That particular bar that's still open, it starts with a V, but I can't remember if it's Vino. It's not Vinotopia. It's something else, but it starts with a V. It's in the Pearl District in Portland, and it was absolutely delicious. And I had no idea there was gin in it. I was like going, ooh, sparkling,
Well, how often we haven't done a gin tasting on the show, which is something we kept saying we're going to get to, just a gin by itself.
Right.
I don't drink a lot of drinks with gin into it. I just don't. My mom does. My mom and my wife drink. My mom does the gin and tonics a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is a drink we haven't done on the show yet as well. I've tasted gin at different places. So, like, where I go to a lot of these distilleries and they offer the bourbon tasting, the vodka tasting, all this stuff, they go through it. And there's always a gin in there. And I taste it. When I go to a distillery, I taste everything that's on the taste palette, right? Like Iron Wolf. I've had a bottle of Iron Wolf gin. My mom is not a fan of it, but she's the gin drinker. So I don't keep a second bottle here. I'll bet you I have 2 bottles now of that Giddy Up from Iron Wolf because I tasted that stuff. That's a vodka that's done from Iron Wolf. And when I taste it at the distillery, I like it. The other distillery that we have a couple thing extras from is the Boot Hill Distilleries when we went there in Kansas last summer on vacation because we again, it was a distillery and we tasted everything. So, yeah.
Well, when I was in Tennessee, that I went looking for a Tennessee whiskey and they're pointing me to Jack Daniels and I'm like, I can get that anywhere. I brought that up.
So I'm at this thing this weekend, and it was an open bar for dinner on Friday night. Friday night was open, like an open bar. They came with our dinner.
Okay.
So I go to the bar and look at what they have. The closest thing they had that I would do on red was Maker's Mark, maybe. Wasn't a big fan of Maker's Mark, but that was the only thing they had that was not like a Jim Beam Jack. So I just ended up getting Jim Beam on the second rounds. And you know what I mean? Because I'm familiar with Jim's taste, right? I'm familiar with Jack's taste. I would rather do Gentleman Jack rather than regular Jack.
Yeah.
All right. And when we go to the Mavericks game, all right, there's a Jack Daniels bar at the American Airlines Center where the Dallas Mavericks play. And they have like a Woodford Reserve, which I'll drink the Woodford.
Yes, Reserve. I have Woodford in my bar.
Yeah. That's Craig's favorite, by the way.
Okay. Well, when I was in Tennessee, I ended up at last getting a Tennessee whiskey, which hasn't been opened just yet. We will one of these days. And then when I was at the airport, got a vodka, which is there's a little bit left for me to taste, and I want to compare it against Crater Lake and the Dripping Springs. See how I like it. But one of the ladies of my Women of Insurance, she drinks gin, so I ended up getting her a bottle of Aviation gin. And
Aviation gin, I've tasted that. That is good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really good because I was not about to spend the money on Botanist. Botanist was like $20 more expensive. And I went, I'll go with Aviation. So I took it. She didn't, it was only a little bit drank from it. So I packed that and took it back home with me because I'm like, I'm not leaving that behind. That's good gin. So,
yeah.
Yeah, that Sean really likes gin, so that's gone.
Well, after talking to my accountant and my favorite insurance lady, I realized, that I can actually take my alcohol budget and make it as part of my advertising budget. Consult your accountant, please.
Have you ever seen
Yeah. So I'm going to build another bar in my office that is just alcohol I bought. My wife, the other night, she comes home and she goes, "There's no vodka." I'm like, sorry. I was not letting her come into my office to take. I got a bottle of Crater Lake in here, and I'm not letting her touch it.
I might have to send her one, that's for her to do as she pleases.
Yeah. So, but like, I'm going to start a bar. Like, and today because I needed vodka. So guess what? I was able to buy her vodka today.
Yeah. Well, see here, this is where I keep my stuff that's for here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm able to pull out. Well, this one was from home because I've had this one for a while, but I still have Deep Eddy here.
Yeah.
I still have my
still have that bottle of Tito's
right here. Yeah, because it's slowly but surely I'm getting there. But a lot of these liquors, when I buy it, they last me for a while because they stay here.
Yeah.
They're for the podcast. Now, if I know that we're not gonna, there was one that there's the Ozu. I took that one up to Sean's, and it's not, there's still a little bit left, but he loves that stuff. I'm like, I can live without it. So after about 2 months or 3 months, I took it up. And so he's been chipping away at it, but used it for the podcast. And I kept it here for a while, but I'm like, we're not going to use it again in a podcast. So you know what? Give it to somebody that's going to enjoy it. But if it's something that's going to be on the podcast, that stays here. Yeah. I have liquor here that is essentially, when we're doing the podcast, the liquor's here, and this is what it's for.
You know, I've thought this. This is now episode 50, by the way. Yeah, we're on 50, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Yay to us. Hey, look, it matches.
It does, yeah. Maybe that should be our colors for our podcast. I don't know. Yep. The one alcohol that has been on our podcast more than anything, and most people would think it would be a beer or a wine, it's been vodka. Vodka has been on our podcast more than any other alcohol.
I know. As much as you hate,
I don't have a bottle of Tito's in my office. I won't keep a bottle of Tito's. I just don't like it. It's not, and it's funny because vodka has no flavor technically, right?
But it does. It's kind of like water.
When you taste alcohol like we do, you can taste flavor.
Yeah. So I have my Crater Lake and I have my Dripping Springs right there. Yeah. So those are prominent in that bottom. Yeah, it's on the bottom side of the shelf where you can actually see it. At the bottom side, I have more liquor. And then I have the Jameson's at the top. You know. Oh, if you see up there where it has my picture, right between my picture and the bottle of wine, there is a bag of Jim Beam coffee. That's coffee.
Oh, no, I have a whole shelf of Jack Daniel's rubs for my smoking. I had some Jim Beams, not as good. No.
I do have a picture with Jack Daniels.
Yeah. So, wow, we're almost at the top of the hour. You and I just seem to have a podcast where we just seem to go. I know. We just have fun in this podcast.
We do. And I will say both of our drinks were delicious. I still like the French 75.
I finished my French 75. As much as I love Bloody Marys, and we've featured Bloody Marys on this podcast more than any other drink, because it is a favorite of mine as well as yours. I didn't finish it tonight. I finished my French 75 because I think it's because number one, it was the second drink and it was used to a light drink and used to finish off the evening.
Yeah,
it's very heavy drink.
Very light. It really is. If you've not tried a French 75, it's worth trying it. You know, and if you have somebody that likes gin, go with them and say, hey, don't order your drink. Let me taste the French 75. If I don't like it, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
That's a simple recipe that we could put on we will put that one on the Facebook page. Okay. All right. This is very simple, all right, to make. Yeah. And those simple recipes is what we try to get. And, I don't know.
Simple syrup, just add sugar. A lot of bars will add sugar over simple syrup. And that's okay. And then just throw in a splash of water in there and you'll be fine.
Oh, that gave me an idea. I'll talk to you after the show.
Okay.
Ooh. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming up at the top of the hour, all right? This show is brought to you every week, all right, by the two of us, all right, our companies and Mary's Mixers, all right? We do appreciate Mary's Mixers for being one of our sponsors, but two of our sponsors that have put this show on since the beginning, all right, is myself, Tim Gillette, Simple Easy Marketing, Simple Easy Events. All right. Every month I do a marketing type event to help the basics of marketing get out there, make it simple for you to do and easy for your customers to find you. All right. And my co-host, who is our other co-sponsor, is
Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design. I help small businesses, those that have less than 50 employees, with their employee benefits. There's always new things coming up. What is the next thing that can help your employee get a raise without you having to outlay more money? Reach out to me. I will let you know what that one thing is. You can find me at insurancedesignpros.com and send me a message. I'll get back to you. It doesn't matter what state you're in. Guess what? I will answer your questions and connect you with the right insurance broker in your own state.
Mm-hmm. So if you haven't by now, all right, if you've seen this show, all right, you have not liked our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, all right, as well as where you get your podcast. We are highly marked out on Spotify and Apple right now, but we're on a lot of other little places, all right, of the audio version, but our video version is on YouTube. Please subscribe.
Because we still have a vacation we're going to give away. So if you want to be a part of it, everybody through our first 100 subscribers will be thrown into that drawing, thanks to our friend Cindy Lee at the Bucket List
Podcast. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. So Cindy's a great fan of the show. All right, we want to thank our regular visitors who are here tonight. All right, I think Robert's here with his Believe. All right, Believe in You tonight on the YouTube side. Thank you, Robert, for tuning in. Thank you for the regulars who come by on a regular weekly basis and leave your comments, subscribe. We love you guys. We appreciate you. We will see you next week with another great episode.
Bye, y'all.